r/AskReddit asks. What are things that people are ashamed of but shouldn't be ashamed of? I read about this in another r/AskReddit post, but apparently people who are choking on food don't like to admit this. For example, in a restaurant, when a person notices they are choking on the food, they just go to the bathroom and try to survive on their own and actually quiet. Many people die because of this. When I was with my friends celebrating the one's birthday, I choked at a pizza place and her mom had to give me the Heimlich and it caused me to vomit on the table. I ran to the bathroom and cried in there for 30 minutes until my friends came in to check up on me. Using the bathroom at someone's house or a public place. It shouldn't be embarrassing at all, just do what you need to do. I've seen people make themselves miserable just to avoid using the bathroom. I was never embarrassed to go to the bathroom at someone's house, until sometime in junior high I had to go at a friend's house and drop the deuce. Didn't think anything of it. I had a big family and nobody ever cared if you left the bathroom stinky because it's just a fact of life, especially if 8 people are sharing the same bathroom in one house. Well, a few minutes later, her mom walks into the bathroom and makes a huge deal about how stinky it was in there and how you should spray perfume as a courtesy and yada yada. I'm sure she thought it was one of her kids and didn't mean to be malicious. But yeah. I've never pooped at someone's house again unless I can confirm they have air freshener in the bathroom as far away from where people are congregated. Exercising around other people. It's easy to feel ashamed of your own weight, strength, etc. when exercising around others that already have the body image you're striving for. I find myself unable to exercise around other people because I breathe loud and heavy and I think it's gross, and I don't want people to be like, this bitch is dying from a light jog. Admit that they failed. Everyone has failed in their life at least once. Nobody is perfect and you don't need to be ashamed of, it's human. Not knowing something. People shouldn't shame others for their lack of knowledge. Absolutely no one knows everything. Looking at you, Reddit. Not being good at something that they just started to learn. I'm like that. Trying to learn the harmonica and I'm too embarrassed to practice when anyone else is around. Really daft. Edit. Thanks for all the upvotes and comments. A few people below asking what resources I use. I've bought a Udemy course by Ben Hewlett which is good. Don't pay full price for Udemy courses, they are nearly always offers and sales. I've got a couple of books, Harmonica for Dummies and the excellent Rock and Blues Harmonica by John Gindick from 1982, bought for me as a gift by a friend. It has a long list of commercially released albums and which key each track is so you can try and play along with them. Also YouTube videos, there are loads. What I really need to do now is start practicing. Admitting to be wrong. I'm teaching my kids that owning up to mistakes and saying you're sorry is what makes you a grown-up. This also shows them that some old people never grew up. I therefore also always tell them when I was wrong, and apologize to them when that happens. Sorry I accused you of making a mess outside, I just found out it was the kid next door. I was wrong and I feel bad about it. Wearing hand-me-down clothes that don't fit quite right because they can afford anything new. I only have a few t-shirts for going out and my friends notice I'm always wearing the same thing. Receiving help from others. We are, many of us, generous and always ready to help. But we have a hard time being on the receiving end. My family made me feel horrible when asking for help growing up. They'd literally call me a dumbass, stupid, asking dumb questions, how about you pay attention in class? Attention seeking, and just straight up insult me for even thinking I needed help. Sometimes they wouldn't even answer me verbally, they'd just roll their eyes or sigh or shake their heads and ignore me. I literally was treated like an idiot for asking questions and asking for help. And I was a child. I'm 23 now and still struggle with asking questions or for help when I need it. It's yet another cycle I'm going to break, hurting children simply for being curious children and asking for help or asking questions. There's no reason why they had to hurt me simply for asking for help with my math homework. The only excuse I can come up with is their pride not allowing them to say they can't help me because they didn't understand it themselves. Edit. Got lots of replies and of course it's the one time I'm busy, so couldn't reply to any. I apologize for that. But since I gotta work bright and early tomorrow, I'm gonna gone, eat, maybe play some Sims, and let this do its Reddit thing. All I'ma say is we can definitely agree that shaming a kid for curiosity is a dick move and to not be the same assholes we had growing up. That's all I got to say, so if you're in the Midwest, good night. As for everyone else, good morning/afternoon/evening/day. A disability. I'm epileptic. I've got no personal issues with it except for the obvious. People seem to act differently when hearing it though, and that can suck. I had broke a molar one time a few years back and couldn't find a dentist willing to do the work to fix it, as I had 5 or 6 seizures one day supposedly caused by dental work years ago. It took nearly 2 years of living with a broken molar and a bit of a breakdown to the receptionist for anything to happen. Bosses and coworkers seem to act differently too, but usually with the intent to come of more caring, etc. Usually makes things awkward. Walking into a store and not buying anything. I can't stand walking into a small independent shop where the owner says hi, and then, not finding anything, being unable to sneak past them on the way out without acknowledging their presence. We had a moment, you and I, a connection where you implored me to support your small business, and I rejected you and your wares. Curse you, instigator of unnecessary guilt. Being a certain age and not being married, having a degree, or anything that people have associated with a certain age. Definitely. I just turned 35, I'm single, no kids, and just completed my first diploma, which I combined with a certificate and did in less than a year. I tried to do tertiary education after leaving high school, but it was all geared towards getting a good job, and didn't interest me at the time. As an adult with some experience behind me, I'm appreciating my study more now, since some of it has direct correlation to work I've done, while setting me up to switch career tracks, and some of it is simply for the pleasure of learning. When I was younger, I wouldn't have been able to afford to study something that had no guarantee of a job prospect while putting me into massive debt just for the pleasure of studying something that interested me. Now, in the golden age of internet availability, I can study it at a much cheaper price and all without leaving the house. Blemishes and pimples that no one notices but themselves. I feel this so deeply. Years ago, in my mid-20s, I had this asshole coworker who was literally the biggest douche. I remember being at a party with him and he was like, "You would be so pretty if you didn't have that thing on your face, and if you lost 20 pounds," and I was gutted. It took me so long to get over it and not be hurt by it. Their laugh. It's so sad when someone hates their own laugh. I hate hearing my own voice in general. Every time I hear it on a recording I cringe. Liking absolutely anything that they like. Flowers, wrestling, kung fu movies, cooking, collecting toilet seats, avocado toast, Bud Light, Michael Bay movies, crying, handlebar mustaches, hairy men, floppy boobs, podcasts, fried chicken, exercise, heavy metal, scallions, The Irishman, just like what you like and own it. This one drives me nuts. Why are there so many people that get so bent out of shape that people like different things than them? It's not like me enjoying trash TV and the Jonas Brothers means they have too. Not being happy 24/7. Good/positive vibes only has got to be the most low vibrational, bullshit mantra. New Age spiritualism has turned the phrase into propaganda made to convince folks that if they feel anything but a constant stream of joy and happiness, that there must be something inherently wrong with them. I no longer believe there are good or bad emotions. They just are. It's a range. Tipping the scales one way or the other is toxic AF. Those advocating this slogan fail to comprehend acknowledgement and acceptance of all emotions is the ticket. Working low-wage jobs. No one should feel bad for what they do, we all just trying to get by. Those jobs exist because there's a demand for them. If you use the service or product provided, you don't get to act better than the person providing it to you. Their own artwork. People don't just pick up a paintbrush and start painting masterpieces. Everyone's art starts out rough. The only reason someone isn't very good is because they just haven't had the practice to refine their work. Being a recovering/ex-addict. There it is. I was waiting for this one to pop up. I have been sober for many years now and I still remember the intense shame and embarrassment I felt walking into rehab. It was okay for everyone to see me acting like an asshole and almost dying of an overdose, but God forbid anyone see me get sober. The stigma around addiction is disgusting and needs to stop. No one should be ashamed of having an addiction and no one for damn sure needs to be ashamed of kicking their habit. Being lazy after a hard day of work. We've all been there, had a super hard day. Get home, house needs clean, dinner needs made. Instead we order a pizza and chill. Because we deserve it once in a while. Not once in a while, often. That's not lazy, that's called rest. Going to community college. I rescinded an offer to go to an out-of-state school because it would have cost me $160,000. By the time I rescinded the offer, the only school that I could apply and get accepted by the fall was community college. I was ashamed since I was an honor student in high school and should go to a real college and all my other friends were going to real colleges. But I enjoyed my time at community college and I graduated with my bachelor's in 2 years. I've also just completed my master's. Don't let other people's opinions stop you, especially if they aren't paying your bills. For sure. Community college saved me thousands of dollars. Mental illness. I think this is a really important one. When talking about depression, a friend of mine said if someone opened up to him about being depressed, he'd hit him on the arm and just say, "What do you have to be depressed about? You live in a very wealthy and developed country with no worries. Why would you be depressed?" Kind of made me think again about talking to people, and it makes life harder. When students who generally care about their education fail a class. I know it's tough, and it makes you feel worthless. But, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Sometimes things just happen the way they do. It doesn't mean you are dumb or are unable to succeed. Some classes also seriously seem to set people up for failure. Requiring a lot of information, little/no teacher assistance, and God do I hate classes requiring group work that's huge on your grade. Men and flowers. I like video games and beer and four-wheelers and collecting guns and rock music and blah blah blah, but I'll put together a cut flower arrangement every week. IJF, flowers and plants are dope as hell. I get jealous when women get plants on Mother's Day. If my wife and kid got me an azalea or something for Father's Day, that would just be the best.